How can they come to atowakuwe na bunduki hapa, risasi, askari ndio wanazunguka hapa? Si wakuja wanishike basi tuone. Rais Ruto ametufunza kwamba you can go against the cartels and the system and the deep state. Na hakuna kitu itafanyika.
Mambo vipi? Tuko naye daktari hapa. Daktari vipi?
Asante, niko mzima mimi.
Uko salama?
Nashukuru kuwa na nyinyi leo.
Asante. Tunaona daktari umekuja leo kuwatetea wasanii.
Kabisa.
Na ni kwa muda mrefu sana umekuwa pia at the same time ukipigana na hao wasanii vita.
Sio vita vile. Ni kuwashauri, mimi ni mzee. Yes. Mimi ni baba yao bwana.
Yes,
ni kuwashauri, sio vita.
Okay. Tuambie kitu gani haswa ambacho kilikuwa kinaendelea hapa ndani?
Nadhani kitu cha muhimu zaidi leo ambacho kinafanyika ni kwamba tuko na kongamano kuu la kitaifa ambalo linazungumzia mambo la usanii. Usanii kwa jumla, iwe ni muziki, iwe ni filamu, iwe ni mambo hii ya digital media, creative economy in general. Na tunafurahia kwamba waziri mpya wetu wa michezo na sekta hii ya usanii, na ambaye pia ndiye anasimamia mayouth, amepata nafasi ya kuweka ili kongamano ili tujadiliane mwelekeo wa kwenda mbele kuhusiana na mambo ya muziki, ya usanii. Changu ni kusema kwamba tunashukuru rais kwamba aliteua ama aliweka ministry that as a department specifically dealing with the creative arts. The future lies in the creative arts. If you look at the world today, America would not be America without the Hollywood. Bollywood in Nigeria defines the culture of the Indian society. The same with Nigeria here. The Niger movies, Nollywood, define the culture of Nigerians. Waziri alluded to it himself. And they have used it for soft diplomacy to promote their culture, to the extent that here we watch Niger movies day and night because they are focused on that sector. The government are focused on the Nollywood industry, and there are so many Nigerian movies that are being watched here. And that's what we want for Kenya. We cannot be consuming foreign content. If the government is really serious with sorting out the issues of our artists, there must be a policy that demands that 60 to 70%, in fact right now it should be 75 to 80, of local content must be played on our radio, on our TV, in public places. That policy must be enforced. That's why I was saying the challenge is not for the lack of law, it is the enforcement. That's number one. Number two, I think we have so many stories that we have shared, many issues that we have spoken about for years. I joined MCSK recently, and I came here very focused to ensure that we put money in the pocket of musicians. Hii mambo ingine yote ni kasumba na mbwembwe ambazo hazina maana. Tuongee, tuchore, tufanye task force, tulale, tuamuke. This is useless talk. Unless musicians have money. I have given the minister the calculations. Broadcasters owe us 320 million. Bars and pubs and restaurants owe us about 2 billion. The matatu industry has not paid since 2019. What do you need a task force for? What do you need a task force for? Just collect the money and pay musicians. Now we are focusing on the peanuts that they are saying we collect and we don't pay. And let me ask you a question. These CMOs that have been accused of all these issues are not new. MCSK is 40 years. I joined here about 6 months ago. And so the problem cannot be the leadership. I'm here now. If the problem was the leadership, give me the benefit of the doubt. I've never failed. I was the Secretary General of Kenya Union of Journalists. I never failed. I was the Director of Information. I never failed. I was the CEO of Kenya Film Classification Board. I never failed. So tuache kulaumiana, tuache kasumba ya kuoneana, kurushiana maneno. Let's focus on collection and distribution. Because the musicians who are suffering are Kenyans as well. And we are giving them lip service by, trying to pretend that we care about them. You don't care if you're not helping us with enforcement. You don't care. It's pretense and it should be called for what it is. If you really care, let us collect money tomorrow and distribute. But if we are going to have side shows, maneno, kasumba, kizungu mingi, maneno mingi, it's useless when musicians are dying in the hospital. I have a musician in Meru, a gospel artist, who went bananas. He just lost it because of depression I have another one in Kenyatta National Hospital. And when you raise these issues, people want to do meetings, to do another meeting, plan a conference so that they can plan another conference. Useless talk.
That's a committing.
Useless talk. Yeah. And let me tell you, I'm not in government right now. I've taken the position of an activist so that I can defend musicians because they have been taken round in circles to benefit cartels. The cartels who run Liberty Africa, the cartels who run these collection systems, the cartels who collected money and disappeared with it. And nobody's calling them out because they are relatives of so-and-so. They belong to the same tribe with so-and-so. We must now know that we have a president in this country called Dr. William Samoei Ruto, who became a president against the system, the deep state, intimidation and the threats. So hamtatuzia woga. Wanamuziki hawatauziwa woga. Wanamuziki hawatakula maneno. Wanamuziki watakula pesa. Pesa yao iokotwe. So this is what we want to say. All of us have issues and we can blame each other until cows come home. But let us focus on collection and distribution. Let us focus on enforcement. What CMOs need is a license. The work of the government is to regulate, it's not to collect. Let the government regulate. Let the government set policies. Let the government enforce the law. Give us police. Let us collect money and distribute. I am really disappointed that rather than go directly to the point and collect money and distribute, we are doing conferences and setting task forces. And I can tell you for sure, until we stop the blame game, until we become genuine with ourselves, and me, I came to this town for further studies. I fear no one. I'll speak the truth. Wakitaka wanifunge. Rais Ruto ametufunza kwamba unaweza kemea system na ukakataa kuintimidatiwa. And you can, even if you stand alone and you are hated, you are called a thief, you are called named, you can still rise and stand by the truth and win. We are going to win this war. Because we know the truth where it is. Those people believe that they can hold the state capture and they intimidate musicians or CMOs. You are trying you are holding the wrong end of the stick. We are here to fight for musicians, and until our musicians are paid their dues, this war is not stopping anytime soon. So my message to you is that if you are playing copyrighted music, pay for it. Kama unatumia muziki, na wanamuziki waache kutumiwa kama vikaragozi. Ati mtu anakuja naimba anatupwa huko. Wanamuziki waheshimiwe. Hii biashara ya wanamuziki iheshimike na iwe kama kiini cha kuleta pesa na kuajiri vijana wetu ambao wako na talanta ya hali ya juu sana. We are better than Nigeria, we are better than South Africa, we are better than many countries of the world. We are talented, we are creative. But the government is giving us lip service. That I can say. I've been in government for so long and I've gone to school well and for a long time. I'm over 50 years, I'm not a child. So I cannot allow this kind of nonsense. We are going to call the spoon, not just, a spade will be called a spade, not a big spoon. A spade will be called a spade, not a big spoon. The spade in this process here is the government itself. They are covering the cartels in Kekobo. They are covering the cartels who have given a system that is not working. They are covering the cartels who are protecting an organization called Mpake that collected money and disappeared with it, and we are going to call their bluff. Watupeleke mahali wanataka. Si mimi niko hapa. How can they come to atowakuwe na mbunduki hapa, risasi, askari ndio wanazunguka hapa. Si wakuja wanishike basi tuone. Rais Ruto ametufunza kwamba you can go against the cartels and the system and the deep state. Na kuna kitu itafanyika. Wakwende kabisa.
One question. Daktari, you've seen you're doing very well. You're amplifying the artist agenda very well. Just to ask, maybe how are you planning maybe to work with the artists to fight the cartels? And then additional question is that we've seen yesterday Governor Sakaja imposed now nightclubs to stop playing music past 10 in residential areas. And you know very well artists depend on this music, depends on this appearance on club, performance, our DJs. We will no longer make revenue from this.
It is true, but we must also be a country that has some sense of decency. We cannot, truly speaking, introduce clubs and bars in residential areas. And if we must, then they cannot play loud music. I feel for those who might lose their jobs, but we must be creative enough to ensure that we follow the law and that we make biashara, we do business without breaking the law or inconveniencing others. And for that, I stand with Governor Sakaja. I think there was disorder. And a lot of Kenyans, particularly in Nairobi, in the slums areas, watoto walali. Na hatuwezi kuza watoto wetu katika mazingira ya uovu in the name of business. We cannot trade our moral values at the altar of business. I think that cannot be accepted. So I stand with Sakaja. Nevertheless, for the government to take any move, there must be an alternative. There must be a way out so that those DJs who play in those clubs, the musicians, will have an alternative. And my appeal will be, let's work together with the other stakeholders to ensure that they are not thrown into the gutter, that there is a fallback position for those people affected.
Asante daktari.
Asanteni. Thank you very much.